Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. We've got a really great episode for you guys today. We've recently partnered up with REI PrintMail, and we're in the same mastermind together. I ran into a couple other guys, and the more we spoke, the more synergy we realized was actually between our companies. We actually really both provide this high level of service to investors that's not as superficial as here's the leads, good luck, or here's the mail, good luck, and they really take it to the next level. So I've got a special guest with me today, Charles Lott. Charles, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, Nick. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, my pleasure, dude. Thank you for being here in this partnership. It's been going great. You know, people come to me for calling, and I get it all the time. Do you guys do mail too? Do you guys do mail too? You know, and we don't. But this is as close as we're going to get. Using you guys with the referred partner. And I really wanted to just take this time to deep dive and have you brag a little bit about what exactly REI Print Mail does differently. Right. So it's like feel free to say what they do that other companies do, and then what's different about that, just so our audience could get a feel for all the benefits you guys offer.
Yeah, definitely. So like every other mail house, we can act like them. You can simply bring us a list. We can grab a mailer. We can send it out. And at that point, we're done. But what a lot of people don't have, or they don't have the time to do, or they don't have the team in place to make it happen, is doing all the stuff that's actually really, really important. And that is diving into your list and looking at how you build it and are you stacking it. And what I mean by that is when I go after vacant properties, I don't care if they've been owned for under a year. I want to throw them into my list. But on the flip side, if I'm looking for a tired landlord, somebody who's been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, they're ready to sell off part or maybe their entire portfolio, I'm going to be searching for people who've owned properties for 15 or 20 years, and you can't search 0 years and 15, 20 years at the same time. So going through and really getting into the list and figuring out how to target properly is something that we can bring on, and we can build a list with you. We can jump on, share a screen. If you want to use your platform of choice, or if you want to use our database that we own, either way, we can help you target the correct properties. We can then go through strategy as well, because a lot of people will think, okay, hey, I want to hit the probates, I want to hit the pre-foreclosures, and they go after that mainstream attraction that everybody goes after, but you're putting yourself into a lot of competition. At that point, you now have 15 other mailers in the mailbox that you're targeting, where we're going to talk about, hey, how can we still find motivated sellers who have stress in their lives with properties that have issues, but maybe it's not that down the middle of the road probate pre-foreclosure. So those are things that we're going to talk to you, free strategy discussions. We can go through list as much as you want, and that's just us having a conversation.
That's great.
Yeah, and then at that point, what we do is we jump into our database. We look at all of our KPIs, so that's the key performance indicators, and we're looking at, hey, based off of actual data, what has been working in your state, in your county, that we have reliable information on. And with this, we send out about 3 to 4 million mailers a month, right around 40 million. Sometimes we get to go over that in a year, and we're sending that to all 50 states. So we actually have a lot of data telling us in real life what's happening. How much response are you getting? What should you expect? And we go in and we go and do a strategy. So now we know how big to make the list. If we're in an area that needs approximately 4,000 mailers to go out to locate a deal, we now know that our list needs to have at least 4,000 targets on it. So now we know the size. We then tie that into the correct mailer. Once again, based off that data, we know what style mailer, if that's a check mailer, if it's a handwritten postcard, if that postcard has an offer on it, whatever it may be, we start off with that style mailer in your area so we can get traction right out the gate and get that phone ringing. And this is where the hard part comes in, because if you don't have the right CRM setup, or you don't have the right team, or just enough time, getting all of this stuff tracked is really important. You should be able to know when you land a deal, what mailer went out, what data source was used, and what month did you send that mailer out. So you can track, hey, wow, we sent this out 7 months ago and now we're landing the deal on it. Or, hey, we sent this out 3 weeks ago and we already landed the deal on it. So we have a CRM and a setup that can track all of this information for you. We push it into your CRM while we do all the work on our push through CRM, and we send you weekly updates. It allows me to check in with you about every 30 days, 45 days, or how often you would like. And we go through the data and we make those decisions on, do we keep doing what we're doing? Do we make a slight change? Do we increase? Do we decrease? And we have those conversations. My thought process is if we're making between a 3X and a 5X, we're kind of in the sweet spot. If we're over that 5X, I'm going to have the conversation with you. Hey, there is a lot of potential in your market. We could put more out and get more in return. It's there. We have it. Or, hey, we're under a 3X return. What's going on? Do we have a diminishing return? Is there something going on with the data? Let's investigate this. So we'll have those conversations about every month or so to make sure we stay on track. And as your market changes, because every market changes, we can keep up with those changes and actually stay ahead of them the more data we get to make the changes in the right amount of time. Now, I'm going to keep going. I'm like out of breath.
Yeah, no, you're good. I got questions. Let me get in there. All right. The first thing is the selection, right? You talked about filters. I think that that's a powerful thing. The average person comes in, they don't understand the filters that happen. They don't know to rule out corporate owned. They don't know to rule out recently purchased, right? They don't know all these simple things. They just pull a list. Like I clicked 4 things. Yeah, it's absentee, it's this. And it's like you're going to have a lot of what you want on there, but you're also going to have a lot of what you don't want on there.
Right.
So
a lot of wasted money.
I think that is definitely a cool offer there because we do the same exact. Not that we do the same exact thing. I don't guide them. In most cases, I pull the list. But if someone is like, "Hey, I'm going to pull it myself," I do remind them. I go, remove corporate owned and make sure it's sold at least outside the last 2 years with like 35% or greater equity. Just commonly missed things, And it's like even I miss them sometimes. Sometimes I'll pull a list. And I'm like, oh, there's a lot of records. And I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta add this filter to it. It's just it's something that's easy to miss. So I think it's really cool that you offer that. I also like that you mentioned that you brought up moving them away from because what people don't really a couple things happen. Number one is really distressed leads seem hot. But they're not for a couple of reasons. Number one is everyone else is also going for that same exact lead. And number two, it's not even that great of a lead to begin with, And the reason why is, in a recent epiphany I've had. So we had a customer run an absentee campaign and he got 18 leads and then he closed a deal. And then he did a distressed property campaign and he got same investment, got 18 leads again. That was kind of weird. But then he was like, Nick, what's weird is the distress list seemed more like tire kickers.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I started thinking about it. And I said, well, it kind of makes sense. And the thing is, people that are distressed, the price they have on their property is going to be greater than you think it needs to be because they're not just financially distressed with the property. They probably have a car that's financial distress. They've got a cell phone bill. They probably own Uncle Joey $4,000 when he bailed them out of a hard time. So it's like that price of their property needs to be higher because they have more complications, right? And so anyways, like all this stuff comes up. So I think it's cool that you also help curb them onto, like, hey, like we actually have data. One of the perks of using us, and this is what I love about our synergy, is we both treat our clients the same exact way. It's like one of the perks of using us is our expertise comes with it. Yeah. I think that is really cool. So I love the white glove approach.
Definitely. And I have a lot of clients who flat out say, they're like, Charles, just pull the list. And with that, I pull it every single time for them. But I got the guys, they like to get their hands on it. And I think that's awesome too, because it just helps them become a better investor on top of what they already do and know.
Yeah.
And an interesting thing, and we're keeping an eye on this, so don't take this to heart at the moment. We've been tracking lately pulling a list using AI versus pulling a list not using AI. And I have a lot of cases open right now. Well, I say a lot. I got like 7 guys who are open to it that I'm working with.
Okay.
And it's about a 50-50 split at the moment. But I got half of it where the non-AI, just traditional old school pulling a list like we did 3-4 years ago before AI got crazy popular, winning against the AI. Yeah. And I got other areas where AI is still winning. So then it makes that question pop up, well, why? And I think it also comes down to what you were mentioning a moment ago is you get the tire kickers, everything else. AI is doing an amazing job at finding people with a bunch of problems in their life, a horrible property that they're stuck with or holding on to for whatever reason. And then everybody's like, oh, super easy. I hit my AI button, let it do all the thinking. It must be magical. AI is the smartest thing. It's way smarter than us as humans.
Yeah.
But it's putting us all in the exact same mailboxes. And where I have some spots where I'm winning without using the AI, the cool thing about that is it cuts the list cost in half because now we're not paying for that service, getting the same or better results. I actually have some people moving away from AI right now. But don't take that to, don't
No.
be like,
Well,
hey,
no. I have, well, yeah,
AI.
I have data. I have data to support that. Again,
Yeah.
we're in the same industry here.
Mhm.
I've had people bring me, and I try to talk my clients into split testing, right?
Yes. AB
Because
all day
they
long.
they will have their own list,
Mhm.
and then I'll be like, well, what's the criteria? And I'm like, hey, that list sounds good, but if you don't want to go all in, we could also pull an absentee and a distress list, and we could run all three independent, right?
Yep.
So every time we've been toe to toe with an AI list, a regular absentee list wins.
Yeah.
Every time. And it's
Wow.
not that, and it's funny hearing it from you because I was like, at the time, I was like, oh, maybe they're better to mail. It was
Yeah.
what I was thinking, right? And
Mhm.
not better to call because the call is like a right now.
Mhm.
It is more like, strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
Like they've already must have thought about it. Something must have come up. Where direct mail maybe sits on the counter and they can marinate a little bit.
Four to eight
But
months is what I see a lot on it. So there is definitely marinating with mail.
yeah, right. Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the purpose. You have something physical lying around. I mean,
Mhm.
that is kind of the benefit. If a cold call came with the sticky note, it'd be game on. You
It
know what I
would be
mean?
cool.
And that's actually a really cool way to think of direct
Yeah.
mail, right? Is it's outreach plus a physical entity.
Mhm.
And there's actually like proven, like, if you could look it up, but if you send your customers something physical that they can hold, like, it automatically just increases their experience.
Yep.
But yeah. So anyways, I have the same data that backs up that AI. And again, it's not good or bad. I mean, everything's worth testing. We test it. We see if it works for us. If we don't, if we have something tried and true, then I wouldn't mess with that.
Mhm.
We look at the supplemental, or what I call like R&D, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to siphon away from what I know has been working for X, to do this. But I'll always have like a R&D kind of fund that I'm like, yeah, $500. We'll just see what happens. We'll dive in.
Yeah, I always say we need to keep at least 60% of the budget to whatever we found that works. If we got something going and the iron's hot, 60%, maybe 70% of whatever your current budget's at, let's put it on there. But like you said, let's have that little side pocket. We got to be A/B testing because the market will shift. I don't care where we're at. I got a guy that's in
Always be able to
Ohio,
pick it.
and this guy is huge. He sends out like $20,000 worth of marketing a month just on direct mail. Plus, he has other marketing channels. And we decided to start this year off 2026 with his two top performing mail pieces from last year and the two top performing databases from last year, where he got the majority of his deals. And granted, Ohio got a lot of snow this January and February. We completely struck out. It was crazy. We're like, what's going on? How are we using the number one pieces from last year, backed by data, and swinging and
It's not
missing?
translating.
Yeah, and the market just shifted. We moved away from owner
Mhm.
occupied completely. We only targeted
Yeah,
absentee,
that's right.
snow. People don't want to move, and if you're not consistently testing something new, something's going to shift, and then you're not going to have a pivot, and now you're out flat for 3 months while you figure it out. So
Right.
I think it is huge to do the A/B testing and always have a pivot point.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And I think this is where like our services pair well.
Hmm.
I tell a lot of clients that are about to do mail, hire me, send out the mail. That might take 2 to 3 weeks. I might be able to get through our portion of it in 2 to 3 weeks. You'll get our flood in that 3 week period, and then the mail leads will come
Yep.
in right behind it. And it's like, and then you can also, now we're also split testing again. We're doing everything
Hmm.
so we can sleep easy at night, right? So it's like, okay, cool. I beat the shit out of that list, right?
Yeah.
We called them, texted them, and mailed them. And then B, we're going to begin to see what happens. Direct mail leads are often hot off the press, right? I think that's one of the big perks. There's a lot of motivation in that incoming phone call to action
Yeah.
that they make. You want to talk about that a little bit and how that works?
Yeah. So, and make sure I'm going to recap that because I'm not going to lie. I was kind of thinking something I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, good.
You
No,
asked
sure,
your
sure,
question.
sure. Yeah, you can.
So you're saying we're hot off the press. We just mailed these out, and the reaction of the person who just received the mailer.
Yeah, like how direct mail leads are hotter. Like,
Yeah.
why like why that is it like how that inbound call signals that it's a hotter lead.
Yeah, so with it, what we always see a burst that comes right out of a batch of mail. So we send out a batch of mail, and within about 7 to 14 days, maybe 3 weeks after, we're going to see probably 50-60% of the calls that are coming in from that. And you got people who are highly motivated. They're like, hey, I'm in a pinch. I'm so glad I got your mailer. I need to sell. I saw most of the time we're putting a price on there. They're like, I saw you said you can give me $280,000 for my house. Is this a real amount? Like, I want to move. And you'll get people that are right then and there, and they're ready to go. They're excited. They saw that you reached out. They trust it because paper is one of our things we can still trust right now. They're AI. You can't AI a piece of paper in your mailbox
Sure.
where it's something fake or not real or whatever.
Yeah.
And at that point, we'll see really fast turnaround because the person has high motivation because they got the mailer, they know they need to sell, so they made the call, and they're not going to waste their own time and call in and say, hey, like, I got your mailer, thanks, and then hang up. Now, they may call in and say, hey, take me off your list. I'm not currently going to sell for the next year or so, but then we still get them in the follow-up bucket. The other thing we see is we'll see people call in and say, hey, I see your mailer. I'm not ready to mail yet. Can I hold on to this and call you back in like 3-4 months? I'm waiting for the school year right now. We're waiting for the end of May. In June, we're going to move after our kid graduates high school and goes on to college. Then we're ready to move out. So we'll see calls where people call in when they're not ready to move yet, but they ask, can I hold on to this and hold on to that offer that's on the mailer? And we say, yes, all day long. Definitely call me back. Let's see what's going on at that time. But then the other big thing that we see is 4 months to 8 months. It seems like that's the window. We'll see people call in and say, I received your mailer 5 months ago. I'm ready to sell now. And that's the big powerful part. Because what ends up happening, mixing especially with the calling and the texting, and then mailing on top of it, if we're consistently doing this month after month after month, you're grabbing with your calling and your texting, you're grabbing the right now in the moment people.
Right.
The mail's grabbing a couple of the in the moment people, but what's happening is we're grabbing the people that weren't ready when you called or you texted.
Right.
And now, but with the mail, they got that physical thing. So when you roll it all into one, it is so powerful. We grab a list. You and I think the same way on building the list. Let's get out of the mainstream, but still find the person who needs to sell. Let's get all the people who are, their backs are against the wall right now. We got to sell. And then let's let the mail grab the people who aren't quite there yet. Maybe they're 3 months out and we hit them 3 months early, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months early. But with the direct mail, they have that physical thing, the put a magnet on the fridge or leave it in the junk drawer or put it on the counter or on the desk so then they can reach back out. But then what's also cool, we got the cold calling and the texting that says, hey, just a reminder, we're still here to help when you're ready.
Right.
And mixing the two marketing channels together is extremely powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and I love that about the direct mail, right? Like you were saying, it has like this like trickle, this tail effect, right? That kind of occurs from it, right? Almost effortless. It's just future inbound, like as to where texting or a cold calling lead. That's not really you have to be the one. Hey, just wanted to check back in, right? So like you have to do the recheck. Another thing I've been teaching a lot of my clients recently that I'd love to talk about is, one of the biggest mistakes I've learned people are making recently is I call it putting distress in a box. Okay. Like they can think of 4 reasons why a homeowner would be distressed. And then they're like, okay, if it's not one of these 4 reasons, they're not distressed, right? And one of my recent teachings is like, there is literally over 1 million reasons for anybody to be distressed. It does not have to be pre-foreclosure, vacant, tax delinquent, probate, and it's actually every single person. And I'd even wager to say the more money someone has, the more reasons they have to be distressed.
Yeah.
The more property they own, the more vehicles they own. I mean, I have 3 cars and 3 jet skis. Between those 6 things, I'm always repairing something.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's like, I almost try to teach my clients to like widen their perspective. Don't go for the obvious distressed person. Almost go for the person who's got the money, who is distressed and no longer wants to pursue that avenue. Right.
Well,
you know,
that person's smart too. They know they have their assets and they're like, you know what? Let's sell this one this year. It's going to take care of X, Y, and Z. And then I can just be not stressed for a full year financially.
right. Well, yeah. Well, and stress, and not only financially, I'll be honest with you, you know, I make $80,000 a month.
Yeah.
So paying $800 a month for a property isn't the stress. It's actually, for me, spending mental bandwidth on something, and this is a true fact. This is how I came up with this. I own a 4-unit in Vermont, okay?
Yep.
And I'm working my ass off to keep it afloat, and then I have tenants not paying me and all this other stuff, and then I was like, oh my God, I am spending all this mental capacity for like $1,000 a month cash flow when I make $80,000 a month.
Yep.
And so it's like there's a point to where not even thinking about it equals money, right? Especially when that person has money, because it's like, you know what? I could actually lose here, all right, and still win because I'm not losing sleep. I'm not frustrated anymore. Because, you know, take it from me, when I lose sleep over like $500 a month and a tenant who's like trying to stick it to me, like that just puts me in a negative frame of mind. That negative frame of mind is costing me way more money than that property is losing me, if that kind of makes sense. So what I've been teaching my clients is, and this is actually a question I've added to my script, and feel free to anyone steal this, and you also steal this as well. Is there anything about this property that's causing you to lose sleep? You know, and it's a great question because that's really going to be, oh yeah, you know, actually I was up the other night. Yeah. I can tell you, if you find out what's keeping your seller up at night, you found the reason that they want to sell. And I learned all these lessons through my own horrible property ownership experiences.
Well, and that is so true. And that's one of the number one things. So we do coaching on so many aspects of this channel on marketing. And we'll get people that are on the phone and they're like, what's the address? What's your name? What's wrong with the property? Okay, I can give you this much. I'm like, that was a horrible conversation. They're like, what do you mean? I figured out where the address was. I looked it up. I got the comps. I figured out their name and I figured out what was wrong with the property and I offered them a price. Well, I'm going to follow up with them in like 2 weeks. We'll see what they want to do with the property. I'm like, they're not selling to you. And it's because you didn't take the time to figure out the pain and get on the personal level. If you're not making a friend in figuring out what's actually going on, you're not truly helping them and you're not going to win the sale. And that's sales 101. But with it, like you said, if you have $80,000 a month coming in, you don't need a lump sum of money to solve your issues. But what you do need is time and mental relaxation.
Right, that's right.
So if a person told you, hey, I can get this thing off your hands in 7 days or less, that just solved you. You're like, ooh, I only had to think about this thing for 7 more days. That would be powerful, way more powerful than, hey, I'll kick you an extra 10 grand, but it's going to take me 3 months to get it off your hands. Yeah. And you're like, I don't want that. I want it gone now. That my pain is the property, not the money. So no, I love that you brought that up, and that's a really, really good point.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I teach it. Like, stop pretending like you know what their problems are. That's a part of the problem. Mm-hmm. You know, that's literally the definition of bad leadership. If your boss never asked you a single question and then just assumed what you hated and loved about the job, he would be wrong almost all the time. Yeah. Right. And it's like, you know, we've got to figure out what's actually bothering them, and problems are relative, you know. Like I remember I actually wrote that Tragedy's Relative. I wrote it 7 years ago. I was traveling with my cat and my cat got out in like the middle of the night and I like had a Winnebago. Oh. And then I remember it feeling like my child died. Right? I remember it feeling like that. And I remember thinking like this is such a stupid problem I was really upset naturally. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I am so upset about this problem. And you know, it hit me that tragedy is so relative. Tragedy is not what we think it is or you think it is. If someone's life is great and something small happens and that's tragic to them, that is relative. You know, and so I teach the side of everyone's got problems. Are you going to be good enough to find out what those problems are? That's kind of my new angle. I'm going to go in emotional intelligence. I've been teaching it, but you know, I just think owning that, because I think that's the number one problem. When someone doesn't match my 5 points of criteria that all I could think of is a problem, then I'm going to hang up the phone.
Yeah.
And that ending the call is ending the relationship with that seller, when I think it's just better questions, longer talk time, you know, more rapport, you know, is really gonna figure out what's actually bothering this person.
Yeah, and I love that. And that is such a powerful move. And if you're not making that move on the phone, when somebody calls you or you reach out to them, I think you're missing the boat. I truly think that you're not playing this game correctly, and you don't know where your foundation is. If you don't find the foundation, you can't build anything.
Right. That's right. And then all you do is solve for that, right? I mean, that's really, and I think the veterans that are watching this are going, well, yeah, of course, because they've closed 70 deals and each deal had a totally different problem that they didn't think of, right? Yeah. It's like a tenant that they're not paying, and like everyone's got a different, you know, I've had one guy be like, you know, I'm letting my sister stay there, but I don't want her there anymore. So I'd rather sell. She's not even paying rent, da, 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 you know, and it's like, you know, you can't even imagine, you know, whatever they're dealing with, and what it means to them. But tell us a little bit about, so you guys seem like, so you said you have a KPI interface,
Yes.
right? Tell me about that. You know, you guys, I'm sure, track the list, you deliver the split tested results. Tell me about that experience on the customer. How often do you meet with them? How do they view that?
Yes. So it's honestly not rocket science. It's not. But it's having the right tools in place.
Data.
So every single data mailer combination. So if that's list A with mailer A and then list B with mailer A, now we have some type of constant and some type of variable. We can only test one thing at a time. But every variable we're testing gets its own unique phone number, and then that's pushed onto your cell phone or your CRM that can then disperse it to a team if that's how you have it set up. A lot of people will round robin to like 3 people. And so let's say we have list A and list B we want to test. So we can use REI Smart Data and DataFlick. A lot of people know DataFlick. So we give one mailer, let's say it's a postcard. So REI Smart Data mixed with the postcard gets its own unique phone number. DataFlick with that identical postcard gets its own unique phone number. Now, as the calls come in, we can track the incoming calls, and then we can put them in the correct buckets. Was it a take me off the list call? Was it I'm an interested in the next 3 months call? Was it, hey, let's come look at the property today, I'm trying to sell? Did we go on an appointment? Did we write a contract? Did we do a deal? So each of these phone calls get their own bucket. And then with this, we want the sample size to be around 4,000 mailers that have been out in mailboxes for a minimum of 30 days. I'd prefer 45 to 60 days.
Okay.
Now, at this point, the sample size is large enough to where we can look in, we can start comparing apples to apples. All right, when we sent out DataFlick with this postcard, we ended up getting 37 phone calls. When we did Smart AI with this postcard, we only got 20 phone calls. So amount of phone call wise, it looks like DataFlick's winning, but what really matters was, did any of them land a deal? So if DataFlick doesn't land a deal, but REI Smart does, then with this, I'm moving on with the REI Smart data with this postcard. Now, what's crazy is we'll test things. I'll take DataFlick and REI Smart data. I'll put them both with a postcard and then both with a check mailer. One will win with the postcard. The opposite one will win with the check mailer. And based off the type of mail, it just flows better with what data that database found. So from there, you have to have more and more phone numbers, because now with each new month, you want to put another phone number on there so you can track it by the month as well. So if I do Smart AI data with this postcard in month 1, as I move the month 2, even though it's the same data with the same postcard, it gets a new phone number, and that is labeled in the CRM with that new month. Now, this part's important because you figure out how long your tail is. We've seen tails go as long as a year and a half in some people's campaigns, where a person literally calls in, they said, I got your mailer. We look up the phone number. They got this mailer a year and a half ago, and now this just landed a deal.
Wow.
Now, that's a pretty extreme one. Like I said, the majority of them are...
It happens.
Yeah, it happens, though.
Yeah.
Now, the majority of them are happening, though, 4 to 8 months. We're seeing a lot of people are having a tail of, wow, we sent this mailer 5 months ago. They're just now calling. Or, man, they called 8 months. We sent the mailer 8 months ago. They're just now calling. We just landed the deal. Now, as we figure out that tail and how long it is, as we dump new mailers on in the current time, we can figure out our compound approach. So how much money do we need to put in, knowing we're going to get deals from old mailers, mixed with we know we're putting in fresh mail into the system? What is that balance going to be to optimize the marketing spend to then see how we can maximize our results? So it's simple, but it's also not at the same time. Our system is set up and was designed by us, coded by us, and developed to where we just click a button, it generates a phone number, it names it, it puts the month on there, and it's all ready to go. We send you a report every week, and then I jump on the phone with you about every 30, 45 days and go through it. I pull up my screen, I send you a PDF of it, and we have it totally dialed in. It is 100% possible to do with any CRM. You just got to build it, take the time to do it. But we find that a lot of investors either don't feel like going through that headache, or they don't have the right resources, so they like us doing it for them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a nice added service,
Mm-hmm.
and that's great. So they get access to the KPIs like in a dashboard, and then you come in for like an overview at like whenever enough time passes that we actually have something to evaluate.
Yeah, because
Right.
you don't want to make a movement too quick.
Right.
You send out a mailer and it's not like, oh, we got a mailer, boom, hey, I need to sell my house. They're going to think about it. A lot of people take a few weeks to think about it. They meet with the spouse if it's owner occupied, or if it's absentee, they meet with the business partner. They look
Right.
at the money, they run the number. So it takes a little bit of time. So you don't want to 30 days in be like, oh, we got to change everything. Well, we really don't know yet. Let's hit the brakes.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend making a change until after 90 days and just really let that go. Now, I got some super high volume people sending out 10, 20, 30,000 mailers a month. They get to make decisions a little faster just because of the volume they have out there.
Yeah. You get to see the averages.
Yeah, most people, we're waiting 90 days before we make a decision.
Okay, very cool. Got it.
So
Awesome. And then do you guys buy the numbers for them and handle all the forwarding and stuff too?
We do.
Sounds like you might. And that's good because that also puts you in control of the KPIs.
Yes.
A little bit there.
And let's say you ever want to go somewhere else, or you get out of it, you want to take a break, we simply port the phone numbers from our CRM to yours. They have to live somewhere. And at that point, now those numbers are in your system. You have them for life. Your phones keep ringing for that mailer that's going to cause a phone call a year and a half after it was sent. So as soon as for some reason you don't want to use our system, or maybe you want to take it over completely, for whatever happens, we have porting so we can port it all out.
Awesome.
So,
Very cool. Yeah, now I love that you guys do that. I think that's a nice added touch, and like it's another realm of control, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you actually get your eyes on the KPIs.
Well, and as
You
the
know?
coach, it's powerful for me
Right.
because it allows me to look at it. I get those same weekly reports. I have my eyes on it. I can see when things are trending the wrong way. I know what to look for. So I can call up and be like, hey, Jim, I saw this change, man. I don't know if you noticed it. We should probably jump on a call in the next week. I think we should move money from this campaign over to this campaign. This one's on fire right now. Let's attack it while it's hot.
Yeah.
And those are things that allows me to go in and see stuff and reach out and contact you. Where if everything does live in your CRM, I'm kind of at your knowledge. You got to tell me what's going on, which is
Right.
fine, works great, but make sure you're staying on top of your stuff.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, and I kind of call that optimization, and it's rare. We do that for our clients too, and it's like, hey, we can mid-campaign stop doing this and start doing this, right?
Yep.
It's like, we don't have to die on the sword. If we see calling is crushing it, we can drop texting halfway through and move to calling, or vice versa, right?
Yep.
Because it's like we're gonna pursue. It's in our like interest for us all for you to get the lowest cost per lead. That's just going to serve both of us across the board. And I almost call that optimization, but normally that's done like digital ad space and all that other stuff. But so I think it's really cool that you offer that when it comes to direct mail.
Yeah.
as well.
And I would say the most, and I haven't touched on this yet, one of the big powerful things that we've started doing, and we're still in the mold of perfecting it, is live answer. So we have a system set up to where if you're so busy you can't answer your phone, or maybe you're getting out of your W-2 job and you can't answer when they call during the day, we have a live answer system that will answer, qualify, send you a transcription and the recording of the call.
Awesome.
And at that point, you can call them back later that night or the very next day. But we can also flip it to where it rings your phone 3 times, giving you the chance to answer. This is always my recommendation. It's your company, your business. You're going to do the best. But you get busy. And if you can't answer it, then we pick it up after 3 rings. We make sure it's getting qualified. Because we have data that shows if something goes to voicemail, you got a 50-50 chance at best of them answering when you call back.
Sure.
And with phone calls costing anywhere from $100, $200, $300, $400, depending on your market where you're at,
That's right.
it's a no-brainer. Our system only costs $500 a month, and in some locations, that's 2 missed calls.
Right.
You just maybe threw away $500.
Yeah, good
So
point.
with it, the system is awesome. It records all of your calls too. So if you got a guy, you can't understand him, you asked him 3 times what his address is, you know you have that safety net of moving on in the conversation. We send you the recording, and then you simply listen to it as many times as you want until you get it and you got it figured out.
I love that. I think that's very cool. So that's an inbound service.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. So you guys can take over the next piece too, for them. And you're right. You know, that's what I always say too. I mean, you know, if you're dealing with $150 to $500 leads,
Yeah.
I mean, it is a different ball game.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, even a $35 lead. You know, when my phone rings, I got to answer it. You know, and I don't make tens of thousands of dollars per sale. You know, and it's like it's still that. I remember I used to go out with friends, and they'd be like, "You always answer the phone." I'm like, I pay a lot of money for this phone to ring.
Yeah.
If it is, I'm gonna be there. So I think it's cool that you know you guys offer that. Well, awesome. So is there anything that we're missing? I feel like that was everything, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was more.
Yeah, that tied it in. We do have a fully done for you system where you can actually ask us to do all your follow up as well. So this system, it's an all-in system. It's just shy of $2,000 a month. But what it's going to do is we're going to build your list for you. It is true white glove. We're going to build your list for you. We're going to send your mail out. We're going to do all your KPI tracking. We're going to send you the reports. We're going to answer the phone. We're going to qualify them. We then notify you, hey, you need to reach out. This person's ready to sell. Here's all the notes that we have. Then after you talk to them, if you don't land the deal on the spot, we will follow up with them for 1 year, making sure that they don't disappear off your radar. And if any pain ends up kicking up over the next year's time to where it turns into a maybe to, yeah, I'm ready to sell, we're on top of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you guys, so that's even the next level. So that's after the lead is
Top
generated.
tier level, yeah. And we,
Now I mean, that's not acquisitions, that's follow up.
no, it is, yeah, it's a lead. We're just qualifying the lead. You're still doing your acquisitions part.
Okay. So is it first touch? Is that like what the goal is to be, hey, call comes in and now we're actually, how far does that person take it? What is that handoff point? And then does it work for before they become a hot lead, and also like, hey, I couldn't get this person on the phone, put it into this world too. Tell me a little bit about that.
So how it works is person calls in, we answer, we qualify the call, we get their name, we get their address, and we go through some basic stuff. Can you tell us why you're selling? And can you give us a brief description of the home? Is it in major repairs? Does it need minor repairs, or is it pretty much ready to go? So nothing crazy, but we don't want to question the seller to death. We want to get the basic information, we get it transcribed, and we push it over. We used to try and dictate if it was a hot lead, a medium lead, or a cold lead. But with that, we had some people who were like, you deemed this a hot lead. We didn't deem it a hot lead. And it's too suggestive. So now we let the buyer make that decision on how hot of a lead it is.
Got it. Yeah, you send them anything, any inbound call answers received.
But if they say take me off the list, we're not bugging you with it. We're not going to say.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you said follow up earlier, I thought you meant like if they couldn't get them on the phone, or it's like, or they're non-responsive, or something like that.
Yeah. So that's where. So let's say yes. So we say, hey, we talked to this person, they're interested in selling, their name's John Smith, they live at 123 Any Street. They said the house is in okay condition, but definitely needs some repairs. Here's the transcription, here's the recording of the call. You need a call. You try and call them and you can't get a hold of them. You let us know that, and we get back on the phone as many times as needed, up to a year, to get them back on.
Got it. And that's great. Okay, and that's okay, good. So that is it is exactly that. Got it.
Yep.
Got it. So it's like, hey, this person's non-responsive or whatever it is. You guys have a bucket that you address at whatever pace, and then constantly chip away at that. Very cool.
Yep.
That is, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, dude, I think that's huge. That was a master class there. That's a lot, for a company, called REI PrintMail. I think someone could just think that they just print mail, right?
I know.
There's nothing,
Well, and that's how we
there's
started.
nothing
We did.
wrong
We
with
did.
that,
We,
right?
we used to just take your order and send out your mail,
Right,
and then we
right.
thought to ourselves, man, it'd be really cool if we did this. And then we're like, you know what? People would like if we did this and this and this. And if there's ever a suggestion of it, it'd be like, you know what? It'd be really cool if you guys could do that. I bet you our president, Jeff Charlton, I guarantee you he'd figure out a way to make it happen, because that's what he's done. And I think that's what's made us so successful is every time he has heard a want or a need, he's made it happen.
Right.
And it just becomes a better user experience all around for anybody who works with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. Like, one of my friends is opening up a salon. And she's like, should I offer this? Should I offer that? And I was like, let your customers tell you what they want. I said, I would ask them. I said, every person you get in for one service, ask them about other services.
Yes.
Right. And I was like, you might as well, you got their attention for an hour. You might as well sprinkle some of these marketing R&D questions in on them. But it's like your customers will tell you what you want. Because the last thing you want to do is sprint off in a direction. And then it's not what anyone wants. We talked about that earlier. That's like approaching the lead and not figuring out what their actual problem is, right?
Yes.
We don't want to assume what their problem is. We don't want to assume what our customer's problem is. The difference is asking.
Yes.
And
100%.
and you'll actually get the answer, and they'll get served better. I remember when I was a restaurant manager, that was a lesson for me. I would assume what that employee would need. I'd get them something, and then they would look at me like, what are you, an idiot? Because they didn't need that.
Yeah.
Right. And then it was as easy as me just going, hey, what can I get for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't think I'm an idiot. They respect me more.
Yeah.
They appreciate it. It's like, and I get to help my business more too. But yeah, asking questions is a game changer.
It is. And a time saver too, because you don't waste anybody's time, your time or their time, giving them info they don't care about, don't want, or maybe they already know it or already have a system in place, and then they're nice and they let you talk for 15 minutes, and they're like, oh yeah, I have all that.
Yeah, right.
So
I know that's awesome. But so any departing words for us at all, Charles? As we get out of here. I know that we got a quick link set up, and that's leadminingpros.com/REI PrintMail for anybody who wants to check that out. That's gonna get right to you, right? So if anyone watches this, they're going to be dealing with Charles Lott. Is that correct?
that is correct. And I'll send you the exact link so you can post it wherever you want to post it.
Great. Awesome.
And if you want to shorten it to something else, that's fine. You can put it in a URL shortener. But yeah, that's the other perk is when you work with us, whoever you talk to, they are your assigned coach. You get my cell phone number. You can call or text me 7 days a week. You have my email. And then also Heidi is my campaign coordinator, another resource. She is phenomenal. So there's always a way to get a hold of us. And you get it, and you get an actual human. And that's getting more and more rare in today. And with it, you don't call in and figure out what number you got to hit to go to billing or whatever else.
Right.
I just answer the phone and I'm like, hey, what's up, John? What do you got going? What are you thinking? What do you want to do?
Right.
So so you fill out the link. It goes straight to my calendar. It books a time. It will be with me. And it's always a video call like this. If you don't want to do a video call, that's fine. I love being face-to-face. I love making the relationship. And I just feel it's more personable as well.
Yeah, all right, awesome. I love that. Oh, cool. Yeah. So, guys, follow that link, and it will send you right to Charles. All right, and tell him you found him through this video.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions about us or how we pair together, we are a team, so we could share lists between each other. We could take some of the additional legwork off of you guys as well. If I'm already pulling it and skipping it, I can send it over to Charles, and then it could be very easy. But Charles, thank you for this relationship. I'm excited to see where it goes from here, and I hope you have a badass week, man.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. You too, man. This was awesome, and I think mixing these marketing channels together is very powerful. So very excited.
We're gonna crush it, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pumped for it. All right,
Awesome.
I'll see you.
See you, man.